What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. And you know, there comes a time in every YouTuber's life where they have to ask, what kind of YouTuber are they going to be? You're really going to be the type of YouTuber that's going to break down a single photo of Robert Downey Jr. that he himself shared behind the scenes of Avengers Doomsday, presumably getting ready to play Doom? Fuck yeah! We are definitely going to break down a single photo of Robert Downey Jr. And in fact, there are just a couple of things in here that you might have missed looking at this photo. And man, the number one question I saw online is, why is he missing an armpit? Because that's not a shirt. We're breaking it all down. Robert Downey Jr.'s first reveal of him as Dr. Doom, sort of, and what we can deduce. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If that's your thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. It's the number one thing you can do to support us here at the channel. Plus, it enters you for the giveaways if you want. Stick around for that stuff at the end of the video. Alright, so here's everything in the photo. We got Robert Downey Jr. outside one of his trailers that has a sign that says, "Do not knock, trust yourself," with Dr. Doom pointing at presumably the person reading the poster. He's reading Jeremy Renner's My Next Breath, and he doesn't have an armpit. But if you notice with this close-up, what he does have now is a bicep, a tricep, and shoulders. This is a undersuit muscle suit. It is very common for them to give this to a lot of actors. It's just that this day and age with the MCU, it always became a thing of working on their physique and actually gaining the muscle in the case of Chris Hemsworth. But even some actors who are working out will opt for these under their suit. So it's not any less on Robert Downey Jr. They just want Doom to have stature and size. That's what this is for, and that's why it doesn't have an armpit. You'll notice the webbing around where the muscles have to be. They want this to be as lightweight and breathable as possible because it's going under a suit. So Doom with muscles, first takeaway. Second takeaway, let's look specifically at Robert Downey Jr.'s face. You will see some black Sharpie dots. Those are mocap dots, which means at least part of his facial features, either with or without the mask, will be done with mocap. Now I do think that this is worth talking about for just a second for a lot of reasons. Obviously, Dr. Doom wears a mask, but also famously his face is very scarred. Oh yeah, and by the way, this Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom, happens to look exactly like our Tony Stark. But before we start talking about that, we kind of have to add some real-world context to this. For the first part of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man career, he had to wear the fiberglass manufactured Iron Man suits, helmets, chest pieces when they were in close-ups. And once they got to Civil War and realized that they were recreating everybody, even those who didn't need CGI, to do the fight scenes, Robert Downey Jr. never went back. That's why we pick up in Infinity War with him wearing the Mark 50 nanotech suit. And so when it was first announced he was playing Dr. Doom, I think in that original video I said, oh, and by the way, don't expect for him to be wearing armor. He's going to, of course, CGI that, and here we are. But the other two things I mentioned are definitely worth bringing up, especially since, again, Dr. Doom's face is historically scarred. Now look, would it be easier for them to CGI that as well instead of applying hours of prosthetic makeup to your most high-paid, famous face actor? Yes, of course, but I don't think that this is for scarring. More likely the case, this is for Dr. Doom's mask. They want to be able to CGI that, hence the mocap. Still curious because Dr. Doom's face mask's not really nanotech, and I don't expect that they're going to go that route with it materializing, although Dr. Doom does have control over magic, so I guess him dematerializing himself is not totally out of the question. But almost ironically, as we're picking apart the possibilities of Robert Downey Jr.'s mocap and what it'll be for, they also included in this shot literally a comic-accurate version of Dr. Doom. And I say they because it's pretty clear that the Russos and Marvel are allowing actors like Anthony Mackie and now Robert Downey Jr. to post some behind-the-scenes stuff in order to get fans excited and let people like me break this stuff down. So I'm not worried about them capturing Dr. Doom's look. I think they're going to be pretty much on it. The only other thing worth mentioning in here is obviously Jeremy Renner's book, and only because, and weeks ago, Jeremy Renner took a shot at Marvel for offering him half the money to do the second season of Hawkeye, and he has a point. That's kind of ridiculous, especially considering what he's meant to the Avengers franchise. A lot of people sort of wondered if that meant he might not be in the Avengers movies, but he himself in that interview and about 2 paragraphs later admitted that that's really not the end of Hawkeye. He's looking forward to coming back and working with them, and I'm sure the paycheck for the Avengers is going to look a little different. Also, being in those movies is a little different, and from his point of view, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars might truly be the end of Clint Barton's story, especially if he's not now coming back for Hawkeye Season 2. That's complete conjecture. Of course, he's not confirmed for the film, and I would just say that this is Robert Downey Jr. supporting a friend reading his friend's book, but keep in mind though, Robert Downey Jr. was the one who went to Marvel and actually petitioned for his co-stars like Chris Evans to make more money. And so I don't want to read too much into him reading his buddy's book, probably no more than that, but also maybe he is sort of giving a little support to his buddy because that's the exact type of issue Robert Downey Jr. has gone to bat for his co-stars before with Disney. Okay, anything else worth mentioning in this photo? Obviously he shaved his head. I think they might actually have him in a wig, or it may have just been easier with the actual mask and cowl that he'll be wearing. Also, you'll see that it says "Do not knock." Yeah, because this might be his personal trailer or where he's doing rehearsing. He doesn't want people interrupting him, and underneath it, it says "Trust yourself." Even in the context of this poster, trust yourself is pretty straightforward, and considering he's come back as a totally different character, that might just be a nod to do whatever you want, don't worry about what other people's opinions are. If you think you can do a good job with this and you have a story to tell, a reason to come back, and this is going to be awesome, don't worry about the naysayers, which obviously there are many. I run into a lot of you outside of the channel who every time I ask about Dr. Doom, I haven't met anyone who's been like, yes, absolutely the right play. At best, you're like, this is interesting. At worst, people are like, why would they do this? Obviously, he knows what he's doing because he's the one who sort of orchestrated all this, making sure that the Russos came back. It took them a year of convincing, and it's the only way he was going to do it. So you guys let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments, including if you picked up anything else in this photo that I didn't. I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel. In fact, we're doing so for every Marvel drop, and the next one will be Ironheart next month, Fantastic Four after that, Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies, whatever's left this year. If you want to be entered to a winner for any of the other giveaways, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced at the end of videos live with my voice and the winning comment shown on screen when there is one. So please be safe and vigilant really on any platform, but specifically on YouTube, any channels that are doing giveaways. Please try to remember that anybody can just grab a content creator's photo, make a new account, claim to be that content creator, hit you up in the comments. It's all just a ruse to get you to pay for shipping for a prize that doesn't exist. Guys, no content creator, myself included, will ever charge you for shipping if you win something. So if you should get any spam like that, just report it directly to YouTube. They are very swift about deleting those accounts. Then everywhere they've commented goes away. You've done a huge service to the community. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit that notification bell with all notifications turned on, and of course, if you like today's video, smash the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at @IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.